Welcome to Winning the Game of Life. I'm your host Shawn Chhabra. Today I'm honored to introduce my today's guest, very special guest, Bob Burg. He got a concept of go giver and some like a five special rules for success. And all day, every day, I hear about like a go taker, go getter. So let us see what is this Bob about go giver. Welcome to the show, Bob.
Thank you, Shawn. An honor to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Very nice, very nice. I'm already having a good morning with you. So how about you start like telling our viewer and listeners about your go giver concept, which is kind of new, at least new to me.
Thank you. Well, The Go Giver is a book. It's a business parable that was co-authored with John David Mann, who's a fantastic writer and storyteller. So we collaborated on this, but he was really the lead writer. And we sort of combined our experiences in business and in writing and in studying success. And the story is really, it's about a young man who is a good kid, and he means well. He's ambitious and looking to achieve great things, but he's kind of frustrated because he doesn't seem to be achieving the kind of results he feels he deserves. He meets a mentor by the name of Pindar, and he comes to realize that shifting his focus, and that's really the key, shifting his focus from getting to giving. And when we say giving in this context, we simply mean constantly and consistently providing value to others. And that doing so is not only a nice way to live life, but it's a very financially profitable way as well. That's the basic premise. Now, it's based on five laws that Pindar and the other mentors share with him. Those laws are the laws of value, compensation, influence, authenticity, and receptivity. And when utilized together in a very holistic way, it really ensures anyone's success in any area of their life, whether we're talking financial, physical, spiritual, mental, emotional, social, relational, what have you. Though this book is really it's a business book, so it's focused on that.
Uh-huh. So would you like to start telling us a little more about those laws?
Sure. Well, the law of value is really the foundational law. It says that your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. Now, at first, when you hear that, Shawn, it's a little counterintuitive. I mean, how do you give more in value than you take in payment and stay in business,
Yeah,
right? It
yeah.
sounds like a recipe for
Uh-huh.
bankruptcy. So we simply need to understand the difference between price and value. Price is a dollar amount. It's a dollar figure. It's finite. It is what it is. Value, on the other hand, is the relative worth or desirability of a thing, of something, to the end user or beholder. In other words, what is it about this thing, this product, service, concept, idea, that brings with it so much worth or value to someone that they will willingly exchange their money, their time, their energy, what have you, for this, and be glad they did while you still make a great profit. Can I give you a quick
Yeah,
example?
that will really help. Yeah, I'm mesmerized and
Um,
I'm trying to create
oh, well,
create
thank you.
examples in my own head.
um, let's say you hire an accountant to do your taxes, your tax returns. And this accountant charges you, we'll name a round figure, $1,000. That's his fee, or literally, it's his price, $1,000. But what value does he give you in exchange in such a way that you both come out winning? Well, through his years of study, his hard work, his desire to get to know your business, get to know your desires, what you're looking to accomplish, he's able to save you $5,000 in taxes. He saves you countless hours of time, freeing you up to do what you'd rather be doing or can more productively do. And he provides you and your family with the peace of mind and security of knowing it was done correctly.
Okay,
So while,
yeah, I'm
go
sorry
ahead.
to interrupt you, but now I can see that's the value because as a customer, I'm able to, he's giving or not, some of the values are coming to me because I'm looking for that. That I needed those
Right.
values and I never identified. And if my accountant is able to say, Sean, see, I'm giving you peace of mind, then oh my God, you're giving me $1 million and charging me only $1,000.
Yeah, in the story we do that with Ernesto, the restaurant owner,
Uh-huh.
right? I mean, he has a fancy restaurant, a nice restaurant. You might pay a lot of money for that meal,
Uh-huh.
but you come out of it feeling like $1 million. The food was great, the way you're treated, the ambiance, the atmosphere, everything about it. So the key is that you, the customer, feel as though you're receiving more in value or use value than what you're paying. And of course, the entrepreneur, the business owner, their cost of goods sold and other operating expenses are less than what they're charging. So both parties win, which is the ultimate characteristic of a free market based exchange. Both parties come away better off than they were before the exchange. And this is why we say, Shawn, that money is simply an echo of value. It's the thunder to value's lightning. So it means the focus needs to be on the value, the other person, and the money you receive is simply a very natural and direct result of the value you've provided.
Actually, I'm just going through my background at some right now. Like me and my wife run a wholesale computer business, but earlier part of my life we were like in a Indian food, like a restaurant business. And when
Mm-hmm.
some Indian customer walk in, Americans have no problem, but when Indian customer walk in, they say, Sean, this costs only $2 to buy in Indian grocery store. I say, well, the atmosphere here, the service, and
Mm-hmm.
you're
That's
able to enjoy, and you feel like you are so rich, you are able to come and afford and sit in my restaurant. How do you value that? So you want to pay me another 50 cents for that, or you still want to pay me just the $2 whatever grocery store is charging you?
that's a great point. And what you've just brought up is that what you're doing and what really separates people in business from one another is the type of experience they're able to offer. In today's day, Shawn, technology has leveled off the playing field. Most products you buy work and they're pretty similar. Yeah, there's some differences, of course, but pretty similar. So and what can happen in that case if we're focusing just on the price and we try to lower the price, what happens is we set ourselves up in a losing situation for everyone. What we want to do is, rather than try to sell on low price, try to sell on high value, the overall experience. Now, how do you do that? Well, you need to make yourself that additional value. Like you said, in your restaurant, they come in, they're treated wonderfully, they get a great experience, they feel good about their experience. There are many ways, probably hundreds of ways, to provide additional value, but they tend to come down to these five, what we call elements of value. And those elements are excellence, consistency, attention, empathy, and appreciation. And to the degree that you're able to mix those all into the customer, the buying experience, that's the degree that price is no longer an issue. And instead, that person knows they're getting a value based
Yeah,
experience.
because price is just one element of the equation.
Exactly. Exactly.
Very nice explained. Like I'm from another end of the world, so I see so many different examples. Like I wrote few books and tweaked my profile all over the internet, and I'm able to reach people like you because I'm able to present myself as a value. So I really
That's
thank you.
right.
You are like all the way up here, and I'm there, but I'm
Well, I
somehow
don't. I
able
don't
to
think that at all.
I'm able to no, that's the truth. But I'm able to leverage just by creating that persona and atmosphere around my profile by writing few books and doing little speeches here and there. So same way.
Well, and you've developed a great reputation for yourself.
Yeah.
You've provided yourself. You've proven yourself, as we all try to, as people of value.
So
Sure.
same way, like these podcasts I'm doing with you and all other successful entrepreneurs, this is all, you are not getting paid for this, I'm not getting paid, and it's free to the listeners, and we are creating this free content for rest of the life. It will be out there no matter people come to you and me for the future purchases or not. And actually I didn't even plan to monetize on this. So I don't know this align with what you're trying to say or not.
Well, I want you to try to monetize on it because there are people doing podcasts that are monetizing greatly. They're making a huge amount of money. and they're providing a huge amount of value, which is law number one. And they're also following law number two, the law of compensation, which says your income is determined by how many people you serve.
Uh,
So, law number one says to give more in value than you take in payment. Law number two tells us that the more people whose lives we add this kind of exceptional value to, the more money with which we'll be rewarded. So, as you start building your podcast up, and I know it's already a successful podcast, as you build it up and are serving more and more and more people, and more advertisers are going to want to get their message out there. They know they can do it through the number of lives you touch or the other ways that a podcast can be monetized. I hope you do monetize it. You should.
okay, thank you. That's nice. That's nice. So should we, like, you gave me very limited time. So should we move to the next law? Yeah, we
Sure.
don't want to,
Law number three.
because
Sure, we'll just go.
I don't want you to all of a sudden say, Sean, thank you, bye.
No, oh, no, of course not. And we don't have to worry about keeping it on the 30-minute
Ah,
mark. That's fine. Um, the law number three is the law of influence. And the law of influence simply says your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. Now, again, this sounds counterintuitive,
yeah.
but again, this is what business is about, placing other people's interests first. The greatest leaders put their team members first. The greatest influencers put those first who they'd like to influence. The greatest salespeople place their customers' interests first. That's the way it works, because people do business with us because they know us, they like us, they trust us, they know we have their best interest at heart. So, what's very important though, Sean, is that when we say place other people's interests first, we don't mean that in such a way that you should be a doormat for anybody, or a martyr, or self-sacrificial. Absolutely not at all. It's simply, again, it's good life, it's good business. We even say in the story, Sam, one of the mentors, tells Joe that all things being equal, or close enough to equal, people will do business with and refer business to those people they know, like, and trust. And there's no faster, more powerful, or more effective way to elicit those feelings toward us in others than by moving from what we call an I focus or me focus to an other focus. Or what Sam, one of the mentors, how he described it as making your win about the other person's win. And when you do that, you're planting so many seeds of goodwill, of great will. People feel good about you and people want to be in relationship with you. You become that go to guy. You develop what we call that army of personal walking ambassadors.
Oh my God. That's so wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Now, law number four is the law of authenticity. And this says that the most valuable gift you have to offer is yourself. And in the story, another of the mentors, Deborah, shared something she learned early in her career, fortunately, and that was that all the skills in the world, the sales skills, the technical skills, the people skills, as important as they are, and indeed they are all very, very important, they're also all for naught if you don't come at it from your true, authentic core. Now, on the other hand, when you do, when you show up as yourself, day after day, week after week, month after month, people feel good about you. They're comfortable with you. They're confident in their relationship with you. They know, like, and trust you. They're much more inclined to want to be in relationship with you. And this is a great way to do business. So it really pays to show up authentically. And in order to do that, we've really got to understand our authentic strengths. We need to understand our weaknesses too. Sometimes we need to mitigate those. Sometimes we need to compensate for them. Sometimes we need to turn those weaknesses into strengths. But we definitely want to lead with our strengths. And to do that, we've got to know those strengths. Sometimes it's difficult to know them because we're human beings and we're very emotionally attached. We're,
Yeah,
we're, we're too emotional about ourselves,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that's why sometimes it's good to have a coach or a mentor or a friend or someone who can kind of dispassionately, they care about you, and yet they're able to kind of step back a little bit and see what those strengths are you bring to the table.
Yeah, because when you're looking or thinking about us, like, we are not able to see our good or bad. We are just how we feel, as Tony Robinson says, is all about emotion. Whatever you feel, you just go. You, all day you may
That's so
all day you may think about saving the money, doing this, doing that. At the end, you just go and start shopping all evening, sitting in front of the computer.
Yeah, and so then it sort of ends with law number five, which brings it all home, and that is the law of receptivity. And the law of receptivity simply says that the key to effective giving is to stay open to receiving. Uh, you know, it's not just about breathing out. Breathing out's fine, but we also have to breathe in. And it's the same with giving and receiving. We give and we receive. When we give value to everyone we meet, when we give value to the marketplace, when we give value, we create the environment to be able to receive. And then it's important that we're able to do that, that we're able to embrace that. See, many people think, and because of the messages of lack that we get from all over, from media, from others, from schools, from every place, from movies and TV, we get this message of lack that, people who got wealthy did it illegal, or, did it immorally, or did that. Not that there's not all sorts of people out there, of course there are, but in a free market based environment, again, where no one's forced to do business with you, you can only get wealthy by providing great value to the lives of a lot of people,
Yeah.
by putting their interests first, doing it authentically, and then receiving. And so we need to understand that giving and receiving are not opposite concepts. Giving and receiving are simply two sides of the very same coin. They work together in tandem. The key is focus, and that goes back, remember, to the premise, which is shifting your focus from yourself to them. When you focus on the giving and then allow the receiving, now you're living a life that's abundant. It's a lot more fun. It's a lot less stressful, and it's certainly a lot more profitable.
I got 7 employees here in my right now we are in one of my warehouse actually. So I got 7 employees. I'm just listening to you, and my goal is to order 8 copies of that book, give those to my employees, and every Friday I will give them free lunch, and I will make them read together. So
Yeah, do it as sort of a study session, a group type of thing where you can all discuss the ideas and discuss how to apply the laws and so forth. And that's what a lot of people do. So yeah, that's a great idea.
maybe, yeah, maybe I mean, I'm not the originator of this idea. Maybe you have better idea. Like maybe people, small businesses like me, should give the books to their employees, and they either listen on audio or something, or
Well,
study at home and come to work once a week or something. They should discuss what they learned or something. Or is there any more effect?
I think it depends. I think it depends how they like to learn and how they best do it. What will have them feeling good about it without feeling resentful about having to do it. But yeah, I mean, and by the way, we in the new book, the new expanded edition of the book coming out, we actually have a discussion guide in the back of it so that people can even more easily be able to run those kind of things. Because a lot of people do that. A lot of book clubs and a lot of businesses, a lot of religious institutions, they use that as a study guide. So that's a pretty good idea. But because it's a business parable, a story, it's a short, very fun, easy read. And so that makes it so people generally are much more accepting of it. But I wouldn't, I should certainly wouldn't force it upon them, because that will probably, make them only resent it. But if you can do it in such a way that it makes it fun for them to experience it, I think that's a fantastic idea.
Okay, yeah, I'm just trying to gather all these goodies for my own business, you know. So when I'm doing that, I'm sure my listener can see all that emotion and feeling what I'm going through at this moment, and I'm sure they can connect. But most of my listeners are like small businesses, or the businesses like people, entrepreneurs who are going to be in business soon. So, but your
Mhm.
concepts are like, this concept really work for all the small businesses, new businesses, and well-established businesses, big businesses. How that works?
Yeah, I mean, Because people are individuals, and individuals are members of huge businesses, and individuals are startups, and individuals are one person shows, and one individuals are part of a team. So yeah, it sort of applies across the board because it's the principles that apply more than just who the person is. But our really, with the whole go giver movement, in a sense, that John and myself and my business partner Kathy Tajanel and I have put together, it's really all about inspiring entrepreneurship and changing the way business is conducted.
I-
And so we have big companies that have bought thousands of books and then had me in to speak because they want to have what they call a go-giver culture. There's others where there's small businesses or one person. So I think it goes kind of across the board.
Okay, I have to ask you a weird question. Okay, like, have you guys ever tried to tweak this, or maybe like a focus on the family and relationship in addition to this just business entrepreneur thing?
Well, we have that one part
Uh,
in regarding the law of influence, and we have the one part with Joe and his wife Susan, and we wanted to get that in there because one of the things that we wanted to kind of communicate is that, in Pindar told this to Joe during that chapter, is that principles of success work across the board in all areas of life. A good business principle will also work in a relationship. It will work in a social setting. It will work in a religious setting. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
A good social principle or personal principle relationship will work well in a business setting, and that's why we put that in there about Susan and Joe, who were having a little bit of difficulty. And we took those lessons that Pindar gave Joe. We took those from lessons that we both learned from our parents, right? And so uh, in fact, one of the conversations in there was actually verbatim a conversation that I had with my dad. And so we did that purposely. And a lot of the incidents in the book are actually real life things that happen, even though the book itself is totally fictional.
Mhm.
But we included a lot of real life incidents in there. We just made them all part of one story.
But it looks like maybe when I'm listening to you, I'm thinking like maybe it was a how-to book, or maybe it was like a workbook in your mind, and you just wanted to present as a story so that people can really, really enjoy it, something like that.
Yeah, well, I had a book out years ago called Endless
Uh-huh.
Referrals, Network Your Everyday Contacts into Sales. And um, so the original idea with the Go Giver was to take the basic principles there, which is that shift in focus, it's the know, like, and trust, it's all those business principles, and put them into a business parable. But I'm a how-to author, basically. All of my books before this had been how-to. So I very quickly saw that writing a parable was a lot different than writing a how-to book. And so I asked John if he would be the my co-author and the lead writer and storyteller, because he's a genius. I mean, he's just an amazing writer, and he's also a great entrepreneur and a very successful man. So yeah, so we collaborated on it, and I'd always enjoyed business parables. I always loved reading business parables, whether it was the 1 Minute Manager, 1 Minute Salesperson, Who Moved My Cheese, books by Robin Sharma or Andy Andrews, or Og Mandino wrote those great, the greatest salesman in the world, and James Classen's Richest Man in Babylon. And I probably read hundreds, I guess, of parables. I love them. So I
I
thought,
know why you
what a neat idea it
I
would
know
be.
why you love you. I can tell you something different. Like it's no different than like this is true how to education, but it's like a it's nicely dressed as a story. It's no different than a
Thank
girl coming in a makeup and everybody like it.
you. Thank you.
Yeah. So I mean, whatever you are giving, I think like I need, or my employees or my listeners, maybe they need a whole year to digest this and implement. So we are
Well,
almost to the end of the show. You gave me like a whatever time. I know I have to be rushing for with the questions. So for
oh,
my
don't rush.
listeners, what can you give, like how they can really really buy your book today, and how quickly they can really implement this?
Well, if they'd like, they can go to burg.com,
Uh-huh.
and they can subscribe to my Influence and Success Insights, get chapter 1 of the book to see if they like it first, or they can even pre-order the new edition, which is coming out in late October. Um, and that's where it's expanded, not the story, but just with the study guide, the action guide in the back, the questions and answers, and so forth. But as far as how long it takes to learn it, it doesn't. Just go through the book, read it, and then, like Joe in the story, just start applying the laws. And as you do, you'll really find, boom, things really begin to turn around. And just have fun with it. You know, it's a fun story. It's a quick read, and the lessons are easy to actually to implement.
Okay, very good. I'll tell my listeners, just with open mind, just go through the book and implement something today. That's
That's key. Implementing it
Yeah,
today.
I mean, I can go through all the education and they can listen to all your videos and audios and your chapters all day long. And if they're just reading like a novel and they're just ready to turn on the phone and turn on the laptop and
Right.
watching next movie at the same time, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's so educational, and the only way they can have some value and they can give value to their prospect and customers, they must implement all of these or maybe some of these or whatever they can digest. But
Absolutely, and read other books as
yeah,
well. You know, it's a matter of continually filling our minds with good information that's going to be inspirational, and that's fine, and also how-to information. And so never stop learning. You know, reading different books, watching, you know, listening to audios, watching great podcasts like yours, and watching YouTube videos of people who've, you know, been there and are now showing others how to do it. So life is a continuing learning process.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
continuing to
I
educate
mean,
yourself.
educating yourself is the only true growth, not the money in piling in the bank account and you're just watching and
No, the money is the result.
yeah.
As you start to build yourself on the inside, you know, and start really learning how to provide value to the marketplace
Yeah,
in a way that benefits
money
everyone.
just the byproduct. Like people are
It's
paying, and when they are paying you, like truly, you shouldn't feel guilty. You should feel happy for them.
no,
Like
of course
they
not.
got a
You should feel
million, they
great.
got $1 million value, and they gave me a few $1,000s.
That's right. That you said it very well. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I, I will put all the links and everything on the my website and podcast. Is there any other place you want to send the listeners?
No, I mean they can get the book on Amazon if they'd like, but they can, you know, come right to my site at burg.com, and there's a whole lot there that they can check out if they'd like.
Very good, Bob. I'm so happy that you were able to come to the show.
Well, thank you, Shawn. Thank you for having me. It was
Oh,
an honor and a delight to be with you.
I'm sure my viewers and listeners will be connecting and following this episode and other episodes, and eventually I will see the feedback. I'm sure they will request me to invite you
Uh,
again on the show.
I'd love that.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you very much. Have a nice day. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. You too.
Do not throw that old phone away. Your trash may be hidden gold. We want your old device and will pay top dollar for it. Our process is as easy as 1, 2, 3. We offer no obligation sales. If you have a problem with the price that we gave you, we will return the device to you at no charge. Fast payment, free shipping, free data wipe, risk-free transaction. Buybackqueen.com.